Okay, so as part of our Inspirational Women's Week, as you know, we are looking at our senior female managers within the college. The purpose for this is, I think a lot of people will see specifically this name attached to a lot of emails or a lot of things that happen across the college and don't quite know exactly who Carol is and what Carol does, and especially you as students. So this is a brilliant opportunity to have a chat with Carol, to learn a little bit more about her, and you'll soon realise why we deem her as an inspirational woman within our college. So thank you so much for doing this, Carol.
That's a pleasure.
So my first thing is just a little, tell us a little bit about your career, how you came to be at Hugh Baird and be in the position that you're in at the moment.
Okay, I actually came to the college from the higher education sector. So I used to work at Manchester Metropolitan University, and I was there for 17 years. My role there was human resources, so looking after the staff of the college, obviously, the staff of the university. Obviously, very big organisation. We had about 4,500 staff, so it was a huge change coming to the college. Prior to that, I worked for British Gas, and was there for a long period of time as well. Lots of different roles at British Gas, but I suppose my career in HR started probably about 4 years after I left school. I left school at 16 and went straight into British Gas and had a fabulous career with them. They provided all support for all my academic studies so that I could qualify and eventually move into human resources. But I decided after 17 years in MMU that really it was time to move on. Even though I enjoyed it immensely, and the opportunity at the college came up. And I think what attracted me about coming to the college was the opportunity really to work in a smaller organisation where you actually can get to know nearly all the staff. And I think the first time I walked into the college, it was such a lovely, friendly place that I thought, yeah, I could see myself working here.
What is it that has made you want to work with staff? What is it that inspires you to be in that HR? Because it's not an easy role, is it? It's not all nice. It's not all, you know.
No, it's not. I mean, human resources, people like to think about that actually you're able to give people offers of jobs and things like that. So it's quite a nice up-plate role to work in. But if you think about it, you know, for every 10 people that apply for a job, you're actually going to disappoint 9 of them because you can only ever give a job to 1 of them. Yeah. But recruitment is probably only one part of a very small part of what we do in human resources. But we're responsible for paying all of our staff, making sure that they receive a salary and the right salary for doing the job that they do. We're also responsible for learning and development, and that's a very satisfying part of the role because you can see individuals as they join the organisation develop and grow, and either move on within the organisation to higher level roles, or move outside the organisation and progress their careers outside. I think in terms of human resources as a career, it is so varied, particularly in a small organisation. You get to do so many different things. No one day is the same. But, you know, and it's a bit of a stock phrase. People talk about organisations being all about the people within them, and it's absolutely true. Without people, you wouldn't have an organisation, and that's what's so satisfying about leading an HR function within an organisation. It is at the heart of everything that we do.
So what's your current role at the moment? Because there's been progression while you've been with the college at
Yeah, I'm currently acting in an interim role, which is Vice Principal for a very long title, People, Organisational Development and Culture. So HR is part of that, but I've also taken responsibility for marketing, student services, learner support, and it's been a fascinating experience for the last 6 months, really. I've learned so much more about the organisation than I probably knew when I was just doing human resources. That will change once the new deputy principal joins us at the end of June, and I will move back to more of a mainstream HR role at that time.
Well, as part of the college, I'd like to say thank you for everything you've been doing, because I know that you've literally, Carol seems to sit under with, when you have a title like that, it really is absolutely everything, isn't it? You know, Carol can have a conversation about how she's marketing something, to what we need to do for mental health, to what we need to do for God, and it has been vast. What are the challenges that you've sorry, Carol, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that's probably one of the other big parts of the role that we perhaps haven't touched on, which is around health and well-being and support for staff. Obviously in the current role, it's also for students as well, around health and well-being, mental health support. And we've been doing an awful lot of work to try and make sure that everybody has felt supported during this very difficult last 12 months, really.
Yeah. What have been your challenges throughout your career, not just through, because I think at the moment we only feel like we talk about COVID, don't we? What have been your challenges? Have you found challenges being a woman within HR or anything like that?
I don't think being, well, I suppose the challenges of being a woman have been ones around balancing family and career, really, been the main ones. I've been very lucky. I've got a very supportive family, and I've had childcare which has been very easily accessible for me. Without that, I think I would have struggled far more to be able to progress my career and continue and to provide that support for the children. I've got 3 boys. They're all grown up now, but you know, when I was trying to get my career off the ground, I was trying to balance looking after 3 young boys at the same time, and I think that is the challenge for women. And I think after having a family, you also reevaluate what you actually want. I was probably very ambitious before I had the children, and then the children come along, and you reach a point and think, well, actually, what is more important now? And trying to balance those 2 things is a real challenge, I think.
That's really interesting, because when we spoke to Natalie Connor, and I said, what is your challenges? And she just said, childcare, and being a single mum of that, when her career started, of 3 young girls as well, you know, 3 boys, 3, it is, isn't it? If you haven't got that support network, so often women have to not say goodbye to their dreams, but their dreams aren't always accessible, because being a mum always comes first.
Yeah, you have to put things on hold. There are roles that I think, I would have applied for that, but actually that would mean I'd have less time for the family. I'd be away from home more. I might have to work longer hours, and you make those choices. You have to make choices, and potentially you have stifled your career progression. But I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, no. It's about getting the balance right for you, I think.
You am I right in saying is there something affiliation with the Scouts or something like that you also do outside of our everyday life in Hugh?
Well, when my eldest, so he's 28 now, when he was 6 and joined the Scouts, I went along to sort of help out as a mum, you know, as you do, and then I think after about 2 years the leader left, and everybody sort of turned around and said, oh, well, you'll do, and I've been doing it ever since. So I've been a cub leader, a scout leader. I'm currently Explorer Scout leader, and I'm currently delivering their young leader training program.
How amazing.
But I've had some fabulous experience with them. I've been to Norway, Iceland, Switzerland, done all the things that I probably would never do if I wasn't a member of the Scout Association. And I would certainly recommend anybody to participate in it, because it is another family. It is very supportive, and the training you get is fantastic.
Isn't that brilliant? So quite often Carol said about the Scouts, but I wasn't quite sure about what you did. So who inspires you?
I don't think I've got one person that particularly inspires me, I would say. I mean, there are individuals and the way in which they operate that I would look at and say, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. You know, even just within the college itself, you know, Rachel, since she's joined us, has been absolutely inspirational in terms of her vision for the college, where she sees it going, and being able to feel that you're part of that journey is the ability of somebody to actually be able to present it in a way in which everybody can say, yeah, I can be part of that, and really see where it's going. I think along my career, I've worked with a couple of people like that. They are fairly rare, I think, to find people who can really enthuse people to follow them, a bit like the Pied Pipers, you know.
Yeah. And is there, you know, I look for inspiration in lots of, not in people sometimes, but in other areas, as in music, theatre. Is there anything like that inspires you? What do you do to lift your spirits when they need lifting?
I actually use probably exercise, fresh air. I love being in the outdoors. I mean, up until probably the last couple of years, I had horses, I ride, I used to compete. And all of that, all that opportunity to just be out in the fresh air. You know, I'd watch some of the key players in eventing and think, actually, yeah, I'd want to do that. That's what I want. That's to be able to ride like that, to be able to get your horse to do that sort of thing. Those sorts of things, and it's so different to what you're doing in work, I think. That's what that is what would inspire me to get up every morning at 5:30 and go and ride the horse and get out and do what I needed to do, you know.
Interestingly enough, I went for a walk last weekend, and I said to my friend, I said, you know, prior to lockdown, my Saturday afternoon would not have been a walk in the park. It wouldn't. My Saturday afternoon might have involved maybe lunch with friends, or, you know, maybe a glass of gin and tonic along the way somewhere. And I think COVID, and obviously it's not all about COVID, but I think that taking us back to those important things and being outside and enjoying nature. I said, promise me you won't let me go back to Saturday afternoon not being a walk in the park, because it's just being outside is so inspirational. It's so good for your mental well-being. We live in a beautiful country, don't we?
We do, and I don't think we appreciate just what is around us. You know, everybody is so desperate to look at other countries and go and visit them, but if you actually just take the time to be out in the countryside and really be in the moment in terms of just enjoying what's around you, I just find it relieves all the stress, and you just suddenly realize, actually, this is what's important, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Carol, for giving us your time. Really enjoyed this, and I think it's a lovely insight into the inspirational woman that is making sure that we wear our masks and we don our PPE. And by the way, that's not just what Carol does, but I think through COVID, the way of you making sure that both students and staff are safe. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you.